AJ, how's it going?
Good, man. When I'm not playing Marvel Snap, good lord. Well, like the
Yes, it's a
phone,
good new game.
yeah, the phone. I might have to upgrade my phone because my current phone just heats up and eats the battery. So it's like,
Really?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
so it's like, oh my goodness. But
Right,
it's
yeah, you
such
got to upgrade that phone to play Marvel Snap.
to all our listeners, if you haven't played Marvel Snap, it is a turn-based card game. And it is super fun, and it's easy to get started. And once you get started, you just get hooked. There's so many
Try it
cards.
out.
Yeah, you should definitely try it
Yeah.
out. And it's free.
If
You
you
don't have
if
to.
you play against Super Sideshow, that's me. You're playing against me, so
Oh, you handle Super Sideshow? That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. When PvP comes out, maybe we'll have some like game sessions where people can join us or something. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get beat left and right, left and right. But that's not what we're talking about today. So today we're going to talk about why DC comic movies are inferior and just have just a difficult time creating a franchise compared to the Marvel movies. And this is an easy thing to
Hmm.
talk about because it's obvious to everyone. The Marvel franchise, since it started with Iron Man in 2008, has just been amazingly successful. Of course, there's been some okay movies here and there, but overall, the franchise itself, just the way the whole universe they built and on the Marvel side is, you can't compare DC to it. You just can't. And
Right,
I
yeah.
think
Very few of the Marvel movies are not good.
yeah, but even more than that, just the idea that when a Marvel movie comes out, Disney and Marvel have a set audience for it. Like you are going to
Right.
go to this movie, and that they built that over almost 20 years. Not 20 years, like 12 years now. What?
Yeah.
How many years? About 12. About 12, 13 years, 14 years, 15 years. And that's a huge achievement, but that's a lot of work, and it's not. There's a couple reasons why DC and Warner Brothers hasn't done this, and I have a theory that it's not really the Warner Brothers' fault. But let's
Hmm.
talk about how this started. So, Mike,
Okay.
um, Superman, the very first one with Christopher Reed. What year did that come out? You know,
Jeez, man.
it's
I
77,
don't
right?
even know. Is it?
77.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to Google it. This movie
I,
was fantastic.
I was actually thinking late 60s, but maybe you're right.
Really? Late 60s?
I don't know, man. I just know the Superman movies have like been around
78.
my. Okay.
78. 78. This movie was groundbreaking for a couple reasons. The main thing is that you will believe a man can fly. They start like the green screen
Yeah, that's
thing.
true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't create the green screen, but they definitely used the green screen in a way that nobody else has. Christopher Reeve, I believe, is the quintessential Superman. He looks the part. I think he just like embodies visually and in some ways spiritually Superman. Rest in peace, Christopher Reeve.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, you'll see like every now and then you'll see these gifs of him as Clark Kent and his amazing transformation that he does just with his posture and his facial
yeah,
expression
yeah.
when he changes from Clark Kent to Superman.
So
It's
good.
really
I
good.
kind of want to watch that this weekend. The original Superman, the first Superman, is just a piece of cinema at work, and I believe that Margot Kidder is the quintessential Lois Lane. Like, there's no. She was the best Lois Lane. There's no better Lois Lane. That scene where she falls off the building and he catches her and he's like, "I got you," and she's like, "You got me. Who got you?" And then he grabs the helicopter. Done. Like that's
Hmm.
and of course, like if
You
you look
have
at
you have watched that movie more recently than I have. I have no idea what you're
I
talking
have
about.
not watched that movie in 10 years, but I might watch it again. I'm super into watching it. But that movie didn't have a big budget and it didn't have a bunch of crazy fight scenes, but it's entertaining because of Christopher Reeve, but also because of what's his face? God, it's totally blanked out. Who is he? Lord mercy, what's his name? Hang on.
Marlon Brando?
No, the guy, Gene Hackman as Luther. He was a perfect Luther. Brilliant.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't remember that was Gene Hackman. Okay.
So that was the first time for a comic movie that you had good big name actors doing this. Like it was the first time that a comic movie
Yeah.
got all this attention, got a big budget. They did it. It was awesome, right? And about
I was a kid when I saw that. Like I was,
yeah, we all were.
elementary school, I guess, something
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
But it didn't seem like it was. It seemed more mainstream. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
it was. It was a huge. It was
At the
very very
time, right?
mainstream. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still yeah. At the time, it was big mainstream, and the movie like industry at the time was running on this
Like I guess
huge
Superman
high.
is just he's so um present in the culture and so like American, I guess, that it didn't seem like it was a big deal that it was a comic book movie. It was just a movie.
Yeah, no, and I think that was the strategy. It's not a comic book
Yeah.
movie; it's a movie, right? And that's something that was very
Right.
successful for DC and Warner Brothers. And if you look at what the movies that were coming out at the time, Star Wars came out in '77, huge, massive hit, and so people are going to the movies. The technology is starting to catch up with people's imaginations. It's really interesting how it
Right.
worked. But that's not the movie that kind of shot all these that kind of created the movie the comic movie kind of industry. The movie that created it was 1989's Batman. That movie, more than any other comic movie, changed everything. Mike, do you
Mm-hmm.
remember when that movie came out?
I do. Yeah.
You want
Absolutely.
you want to talk about it?
Um, I don't. I mean, I don't remember like super details about like what I was doing when it came out, but I remember. I think I probably saw it in the theater. If not, I saw it like as soon as it hit home video.
Yeah, I didn't go
Um,
see it in the theater. My entire family went and saw it, except me and my mom. We went and saw Karate Kid because I thought it was scary. I genuinely thought Batman was going to be scary. I didn't want to see it, but
yeah.
I was
Well, I
really
mean,
interested. But I was really interested in Karate Kid, and I think
right?
that to this day, I feel like that was the right choice for me. Um, but of
Probably.
course, I saw it on video. And if you look at the merchandising for Batman, notice how like the box art for the DVD, it didn't have DVDs then, but the box art for the video or the
The
poster,
VHS, yeah.
it was just
Hmm.
the Batman symbol, no words
Right. Yep.
whatsoever. And there's a couple other things. Michael Keaton as Batman, which was great. But I mean,
Perfect.
Jack Nicholson as the Joker
Like
is
I
still.
remember, I remember that casting,
Mm-hmm.
and it just seemed really bad to me.
Until you saw it.
Um, yeah, until I saw it, and then he's like the perfect Batman
Yeah.
in my eyes. I don't think anybody's ever beat him as Batman.
No, absolutely not. And then Jack Nicholson as the Joker, which is like
Yep.
the best Joker ever. Like no one's topped that.
Hmm.
And Prince doing the entire
Yeah.
soundtrack. Like that soundtrack
Bangers.
is still there, right? It's still on
Right.
top.
Right.
Like that
Hmm.
movie is on a different level. Once the industry like Warner Brothers realized that they could make a movie like that, it was going to like break box offices to shreds, to destroy it. They really
Yeah.
wanted to keep that going, which is sort of why it they couldn't do what Marvel done. And I want to explain this.
Okay.
Once Superman was done and once Batman was done, Marvel, like not Marvel, Warner Brothers said, and this is how companies work, right? Capitalism, right? We need to make as much, if not more money than this last movie. Right. And
Yeah.
so each
Right.
movie they had to say we need to swing it out the park. This next movie, the sequel to Batman needs to occur. It needs to be awesome. So first of all,
But
the
each
fact
sequel makes their money based on the movie that came before it.
yeah, and but here's the
Yeah.
problem. Like, okay, let's use Superman's example. Superman had a sequel, Superman 2, which I think is pretty good. Superman 3, which is not good. Superman 4, which was really not good. And then Superman 5, which was absolutely terrible. Now, the reason why they kept making those sequels is because they wanted to coop more money. They wanted to make
Yeah.
more money. At some point, a creative director or somebody who knows about creativity and originality should have said, time out. We're not making good stuff. We're just putting out movies to make money. And that's kind of what Warner Brothers wants to do. If you think about Batman Returns,
Yeah.
that movie
Yeah.
is not as good as Batman at all. That movie is actually flawed on multiple different ways. Yes, Michelle Pfeiffer was a great Catwoman, but the only reason they won Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is they wanted her in the Catwoman suit, right? And then you got Danny DeVito as Penguin, which was fine, but okay, whatever. But that movie
He
had
was great as Penguin. Come on, man.
yeah, okay, fine. But see, okay, I don't even want to get to it. I don't even want to argue
Put
with you
some
about that.
respect on his name.
Okay, fine. That movie's flawed. and that movie's just not good. And then what did they do after that? They
I
they
haven't
made
seen it in
another one.
forever, but I have good memories of that movie.
Batman 2's fine, but they made another one
Okay.
after that, and then they made another one after that, and then they made
Yeah.
another one after that, and they got worse and worse. And so what happens?
I mean, my memory is it got bad when Arnold Schwarzenegger got involved. Not because of him. It's just that was the movie where it started getting bad.
Yeah, and see, side note, Mr. Freeze is a great character. If you haven't watched the animated movie of Mr. Freeze, that Batman animated series, man, movie for Mr. Freeze, it's amazing. Go watch it. It's great. But, okay.
Yeah.
Joe Schumacher should not be making. That's Joe Schumacher, right? That's him. Was that him? Yeah.
Anyway. I think so. Yeah. I definitely. His name is frozen in my brain as one of the people that ruined the Batman films.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you have a machine like Warner Brothers that wants to keep making money. It's like, okay, we have this property that's churning out, but if you look at the difference between the Superman movies and the Batman movies, if you look at how they handled Iron Man, they purposely had a plan to create a franchise that was based off of multiple properties, creativity, and make it interesting and true to the characters. And
did they have the plan at the time, or did they quickly assemble a plan after the success of Iron Man?
That's funny. That's a good word. We got a lot of puns this week. They assembled.
Yeah.
No,
right.
Yeah, it's well documented.
See what I did there?
Yeah, it's well documented that when Iron Man came out, they had a plan to get towards Avengers, but it wasn't going to be rushed.
Okay,
they took their time, and they knew they could.
Because Iron Man was a big experiment, right?
It was a big experiment. Yeah, it was a huge experiment, and it worked, and it was fantastic. Big name actors again, like Robert Downey Jr., big name directors, good special effects. I would say.
By the way, I watched over the weekend the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck.
I saw that on Twitter. It's terrible. Terrible movie.
It was bad.
Terrible. Yeah, it's absolutely bad.
It was really, really, really bad. It's like the director. I looked him up on IMDb. He has directed very few movies, and it makes sense after seeing Daredevil. But I was super shocked to see who plays Foggy Nelson in the Daredevil movie.
Yeah, what's his face?
Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
Director of Iron Man.
He was.
And I was reading on IMDb that actually while Favreau was in the Daredevil movie was when he started talking to Marvel about Iron Man.
That was smart. Yeah. But if you look at Daredevil, that movie with Ben Affleck, it had the same problem. They wanted to make it like Batman again, right? Get a bunch of big name actors, get a director, just make it and make money. But like Favreau, thankfully, and then Feige and everybody else at Marvel and then Disney, they understood that, hey, we have the chance to make something slow, steady, and it can build and build and work, right? That was so smart. Right. Again, that's because of Favreau, that's because of Feige, that's because of Marvel. And they had a plan to do this thing. Feige, I'm sorry. And then once
yeah, people are gonna think you're talking about the Black Eyed Peas or something.
Feige. How do you say it?
Feige.
Once Disney acquired Marvel, Disney had the smarts to say, okay, they have a plan for their Marvel movies. Let's let them do it. They didn't interfere. That's actually an article in our show notes that talks about that. Versus Warner Brothers, which is like, make a new movie. Okay, we did the Batman movies. Make a new Batman series. Okay, make a new Batman series. And I'm not saying anything bad about Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. That's a good trilogy. But they never had a plan to make a big franchise of it. And this is a side note.
Yeah.
When I went to the movie theater to see Dark Knight Rises, did you remember that movie, Mike? You saw
that's the first one with Christian Bale and who's the director? Jonathan Nolan?
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. Jonathan Nolan, I think, is his brother. But it had Bane. Yeah, Bane. I'm going to use my Bane voice. I can't. I just totally forgot one of Bane's lines. Oh, yeah. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. Okay, anyway. I watched that
something
movie
about
with
Born in the Darkness or something.
I was born in the dark. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I might do Bane voice. It's funny. Anyway, I watched it with some friends. I watched it with some friends, And afterwards, they say, okay, I wonder what the next Batman is. Because that guy's Robin, right? He's going to be the new Batman. And I told them, there's not going to be another Batman movie. Like, Christopher Nolan's not making another one. And Warner Brothers isn't going to let him. They're done. And she's like, no, they're going to do it like Marvel's doing it. I was like, no, they're not. Warner Brothers and DC does not have a plan to create a franchise like the Marvel movies. And it's so interesting because like Warner Brothers, like Christopher Nolan.
But they did a trilogy. They did a trilogy.
They gave Christopher Nolan a 3-movie deal. They gave what's his face, Christian Bale a 3-movie deal. They were done, and it was over, right? And so,
right.
And you couldn't even create a franchise based off of Christopher Nolan's Batman because it had so many canon mistakes that you couldn't create it because the creative work just wasn't matching up with. Yeah, it's just messed up. So we've kind of established
more than say Iron Man had.
Yeah, oh god, Iron Man didn't have a lot of canonical problems, to be honest with you. The biggest problem Iron Man has is that Tony Stark didn't have a drinking problem, because in the comics, Tony Stark's an alcoholic. So we'll get to that. I think we talked about that in the podcast.
We talked about that. Yeah, go back and listen to our Iron Man podcast.
Yeah, there you go. But so we kind of established that Warner Brothers is a corporate machine that was just churning through their properties. Versus Marvel, which is trying to do something like more of a franchise,
they had more of a strategy to it.
Yes.
And DC early on was just, let's keep doing Superman sequels. That's done. We ran that into the ground. Let's keep doing Batman sequels.
We ran that into the ground.
We run that into the ground.
Let's outsource a bunch of our properties to the CW and let them do whatever they want without any kind of corporate or creative oversight. And so CW created an entire new DC universe. And then
really? Okay.
Yeah, you saw the CW shows.
I mean, I saw several of those shows. I liked them.
Yeah, they made Arrow, which is a success. They made The Flash.
Arrow was great. The Flash was great.
8 seasons. Supergirl. Well, I thought Supergirl was great. They made.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes of that. It was good. I never really caught on with me. But
they made a brand new property called Legends of Tomorrow, which was based off of some DC properties. But but if you're going to make something like what Marvel has, you can't let CW do it. And you can't have a Flash movie coming out and have a Flash on TV. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I did not like that at all.
No one does. No one likes that, right? Because, like, hey, which Flash is this? I see the Flash in Justice League, and then I see the Flash on TV. Which Flash am I looking at? How does this make any sense? It's confusing, but Warner Brothers doesn't care.
And the Flash on the TV was way better. Flash on the TV was way better than Flash in the movies.
Yes. The Green Arrow on Arrow is probably the.
Why did you bother casting somebody new as Flash? It made no sense.
And let's not even talk about how the Flash in the Justice League, what's his name, Ezra Miller, is a crazy person. So let's not even get that.
Yeah.
And then but then you have somebody like Zack Snyder who wants to try to Marvel-fy the DC properties, and he just couldn't do it right. And Mike, I have a theory.
Well, he had I mean, I love taking glee in seeing people that use all those hashtags on Twitter. There's a lot of schadenfreude on my end there with those guys, but to defend Zack Snyder a little bit, he had some real bad familial problems around the times, so he couldn't carry through with what he wanted to do.
I will say this
I probably wouldn't have liked what he wanted to do anyway.
Yeah, it's too dark. It was too dark. But I will say this.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, I'll watch it again. I love the fact that they destroyed Metropolis. Do it 5 times. I don't care.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Watch it this weekend.
Is that one of the Zack Snyder? I'm not going to watch that.
But it's worth watching. It's worth watching.
Okay.
Batman versus Superman.
I watched the first Zack Snyder thing. What was the first Zack Snyder thing?
Man of Steel. That's the first thing he did for DC.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe I didn't watch that then.
Then he did Batman versus Superman. Had some real issues. Then
I watched that. That was bad.
I was okay. Then it had Justice League. Again, other issues. But
Yeah.
I mean, the last Justice League, they re-released the Jack Snyder Justice League. It's 4.5 hours long. I watched the whole
Yeah,
thing for
didn't
some
Joss
crazy reason.
Whedon get involved in some
Yeah,
way?
Josh Whedon finished up the original Justice League before it was released because of Zack Snyder's family problems, family issues, whatever you want to call it. But
Right.
the Josh Whedon stuff didn't work. But I'm getting
Joss Whedon.
sidetracked.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Okay.
sidetracked.
Sorry.
Stay with me for a second. Okay, this is why ultimately DC movies cannot do what Marvel movies are. This is the reason why. Are you ready?
I'm waiting.
Okay. Batman.
I'm on tenterhooks.
Batman. He guards what? He guards what city?
Gotham.
Superman. He guards what city?
New York.
No, Metropolis.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Flash.
All right.
He guards what city?
It's something city.
Central City, but also
Central
Keystone
City.
City. It's a long story. Each DC character guards their own city. Not all of them, but most of them. And the cities aren't real, which is a side note. But
but they're all aren't they all kind of like stand-ins for New York?
No, there's
Metropolis,
a New York,
Gotham.
There's a New York City in DC universe, and there's a Metropolis, and there's a Gotham. There are those cities. They all exist. Yes.
Okay.
But here's the deal. This is important.
Yeah.
DC characters are far more powerful than Marvel characters, and two, they are all antagonistic against each other. Now, this doesn't always
teamwork.
This doesn't always play out like this, Mike.
What about the Justice League?
If you read comics like the Justice League, they do work together because there's some minor league characters connected. There was a great series in the 90s called JLA, which stands for Justice League of America, that combined all these powerhouse superheroes. And they wrote the comic, when they wrote the comic, these superheroes dealt with massive, super bad things. But Green Lantern is as powerful as Superman. The Flash is as powerful as Superman. Batman, just with his intellect and skill set, is as powerful as Superman. You can't have. I know people can argue.
Disagree.
That's fine. Right. Wonder Woman is as powerful as Superman. You can't have these characters interact with each other the way that you can have Iron Man. Because and Iron Man, Captain America, Superman, and Spider-Man. And here's why. Marvel characters, all of them have at least one or two personality flaws. They have a flaw, not just a physical flaw, but it's a personality flaw that causes them to be different and act different. Iron Man is not even close to Superman's power levels, not just because of Iron Man and his suits, but because he's an alcoholic. Intrinsically, right? Spider-Man.
What about Batman?
Batman does have a flaw because of his parents, but he's overcompensated with that so hard and so much that overshadows like his intellect and his fighting ability, his just sheer personality like he pushes past his grief, right? To the point where it doesn't even affect him anymore. Like, his grief has caused him to be a super awesome superhero. But Spider-Man, he puts on the suit every day because he feels responsible for his uncle's death. I don't think it's healthy for a superhero to be a superhero based off of personal guilt, but he does it. And when you look at the Marvel characters, all of them, most of them, right? If you look at all the Marvel characters, they are just a bunch of halfway screwed up people doing the best they can to do the best they can. And the movies reflect that. Now, there's some differences. The Thor that we see in the movies is different than the Thor from the comics. So the analogy doesn't hold up completely. But if you look at all the Marvel characters that's in the Marvel movies, they are dramatically different as far as how they handle themselves, their responsibilities, and their power levels compared to the DC characters. It doesn't
You're saying the DC characters are they're a little bit more one-dimensional than the Marvel characters.
I would say that the DC characters are on. I would say the DC character. I don't want to say one-dimensional. even though that's
Okay.
accurate, because I want to give respect to the DC characters because these characters are old, just as old as Marvel characters, and they're super interesting. They're doing something different that Marvel isn't. The Marvel stuff, it's like I'm going to try to put this in.
DC's over the top.
Yeah, it's like watching DC is like watching The West Wing versus the Marvel shows is like watching
Breaking Bad.
No. Maybe that might be a good analogy. But I was thinking more of like something more homey, more comfortable. Like when you watch a Marvel,
okay.
When you
Parks
watch
and Rec.
yeah, I would say that. Like when you watch a Marvel show, you see people like you who somehow have abilities and are trying to make it work. Versus DC
especially
characters,
with Spider-Man and Mrs. Marvel.
Yeah, versus
Miss
DC
Marvel.
characters, these people are not like you. I don't care what you do.
Literally
you are
alien.
You're not going to be. Well, let's not call Superman an alien, right? He's a person here, right? Like
I mean, he's from another planet.
Yeah, it's true, but I don't know. I don't like the word alien. What's another term? Undocumented.
I mean, he is an alien. He's an alien from another planet.
He's an immigrant.
He's extraterrestrial.
It's fine. Anyway, you're not going to be Batman. You're not. You're not going to ever be Batman. Ever. Right. But if you get bit by a radioactive spider, you could be Spider-Man. You could.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like, you might not have the intellect of Tony Stark, but maybe you could drink too much and be like him. You know, like that might work.
Yeah.
And like characters like the Hulk, he didn't mean to do what happened to him. He's super smart, but it was an accident, right? And so intrinsically, at their core, the DC characters are just not built for a franchise like we have. And I mean, we're going to talk about this more about James Gunn in a second, but like Black Adam for a second, the Black Adam movie, in the comics, Black Adam, Shazam, and Superman are on the same power levels. Why would you want to see those three people hang out together? Like, all three of them could do whatever they want.
Is
like,
Black Adam a hero or a villain? I don't even know.
He's an anti-hero, whatever that means. But when you see Spider-Man, Ant-Man, and Captain America, you see those three guys together. Like, they're powerful, but each one of them kind of like complements each other. Like, Spider-Man kind of needs Captain America's leadership. Captain America kind of needs Spider-Man's daring, and they all three need Ant-Man's technical savvy. If you have Black Adam, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman together, they don't need each other. They're just hanging out because they want to. Like, and it's like, that's at the core.
You're reminding me of what people have criticized about the Thunderbolts that's coming up, where basically everybody in the Thunderbolts is a super soldier.
Yes,
except for Ghost.
That's a good criticism. I think that's criticism valid. But they're all messed up. Each one of them have a personality flaw that makes it so I don't care how powerful they are, they'll be lucky to complete a mission because they're all messed up in their head. Right? And so again, if you look at what
these are all superhumans, but what I'm getting is from what you're saying, the DC heroes are literally superhuman. Like they don't really have these like human characteristics.
Yes, except if you look at the success of the movies of Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad, if you look at those two movies, those characters those two
wasn't
movies,
one of those a bomb and one of those a success, or
both of them were relatively successes. But the new one was more successful. But those two movies,
the new one was a soft reboot.
Yeah, that's true. But okay, let's just focus on the newer one. Okay, The Suicide Squad. If you look at that movie was full of messed up, screwed up people just trying to get by. That's why people like to watch them, right? But if you have a bunch of superheroes together, like Superman, Green Lantern, The Flash, put them in a movie together, no one's going to care. It's not interesting. It's just not. It's just not interesting. And hopefully James Gunn, we'll talk about this in a second. Hopefully James Gunn has a plan to deal with that. And I'm hoping he does. I think he does. I think he understands what I'm talking about more than anything. But the DC in the comics make up for this by creating massive problems for DC characters that they have to deal with. In the Marvel comics, they don't have to do that. They can just tell what kind of stories they want. But in the DC comics, they've destroyed their universe, I think, twice now in the last 20 years. They completely rebooted the universe like twice, which has caused a lot of other problems because they have a say it for me.
Continuity.
They have a continuity issue because the universe
There we
has
go.
been the universe has been rebuilt so many times versus Marvel, which Marvel refuses to do that in the comics. I think they kind of did a soft little,
but they've got their way around it through like different universes.
Exactly. Which, if you look at the way they have the multiverse, which also helps them with a ton of other issues. So, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to wrap this up, and then we'll talk about James Gunn's leadership and what I hope to see.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, how does he work out his way out of this?
Okay, I'll go with this. Here's what James Gunn will probably do. He's going to try to tell stories with characters in the bigger movies that will kind of help smooth out some issues. So let's say Superman for example. The next Superman movie will be about Superman.
Because they have their new Superman, which is the old Superman.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I love him. I think he's great.
Right? Am I right? That's Superman, right?
Henry Cavill. Yeah, I think it's a great Superman. But the Superman movie is going to have tons and tons of secondary and thirdary characters that will give that movie.
Can I just say that Brandon Routh was done dirty? Brandon Routh was done dirty.
No, I will completely agree with that. Superman Returns was a decent movie. I think he should have had his chance to do what he wanted with it. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But you know what, Mike? You should watch the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths. He does redo his Superman character in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should watch it. It's not great, but it's worth watching. So yeah, it's actually it's a long. I can't start talking about CW stuff. Maybe one day we'll talk about it. But I was gonna say, so you're gonna have a Superman in a movie, but you're gonna have a ton of other characters in that movie that are going to take up some space. So Superman's not going to be the focal point. He's going to be in it, but the other characters are going to take up a lot of room. And I think James Gunn knows that. Like, if you look at his Suicide Squad, if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, we have ensemble.
He's done a good job with ensemble cast.
Ensemble cast. That's his thing. That's what he's going to do. And like, he knows, okay, if I have a Superman movie where it's just Superman beating up somebody, boring. But if I have a Superman movie full of all other kind of characters, Superman's trying to deal with all these other people, that's going to be interesting. My fear is that
You don't think there'll be like a standalone Superman movie, though?
There will be a standalone Superman movie, but it's going to have a ton of other characters in it. Okay. So you just gotta get. That's the only way DC can do it. That's the only way, because DC superheroes just can't hang out by themselves. They can't be intimate. That's not who they are. But my biggest fear is that James Gunn is going James Gunn stuff, and it might. I just don't. I'm not.
What does that mean?
It's like I'm not. Some of the humor and some of the weirdness of the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad and stuff, I'm not a fan of. I just don't like it. And I understand that a lot of people find it funny and interesting.
Well, he's not going to be the director of every movie.
No.
He's the CEO of the studio now.
He's going to read the scripts, and if he doesn't like a script, then it's not going to run. He's going to talk to the directors, and if he doesn't like the directors, it's not going to happen. So again, but maybe I'm an old guy. Maybe James Gunn is the future, and he knows a different way to do these superhero characters than I do. That's fine. I'm not getting paid millions of dollars to do it. He is, so I'm comfortable with that. But the one thing that we are definitely going to see is competition. The James Gunn movies, when they start coming out through DC, are going to be very successful, and they're going to be very good. And Marvel's going to have to change up, because Marvel movies are getting stale. And Black Panther.
What does James Gunn do about the Batman situation?
Leave it alone for now. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batman. We've been Batmaned out. I think we need a good 10 years of no Batman stuff.
So Batman hiatus is what you're saying. No Batman for at least 5 years.
Make people want to see him. Like we've got Batman movies on top of Batman movies on top of Batman movies. I mean, like the guy from what's his face, the vampire movies just became Batman. Good Lord. Take a break. Take 10 years off.
Pattinson.
No more Batman. Let people wonder when the next Batman movie's come out, and then make a new one.
But
right?
they have a sequel to the Batman in the works, right?
I think that's a huge mistake. I hope that's not true. Just take a break. Stop. And that might be the solution to a lot of problems. If people are getting burned out with superhero movies, to stop making them for a while. Make some other stuff. I mean, 10 years might seem long to you and I. But
Well, he's got something. He's got this new CEO job. He's got to do some movies.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be Batman. That's lots. I mean, we haven't seen a decent Green Lantern movie, and Green Lantern is a paint by numbers creative license for a movie. I don't understand why we haven't had a new Green Lantern movie.
Ryan Reynolds return to play the Green Lantern?
Nope, because he was terrible at it. But we need a Green Lantern. A Green Lantern has a huge stories behind him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Green Lantern, but you should prepare yourself for.
I could see Ryan Reynolds getting involved behind the camera on a new Green Lantern movie.
I don't think so.
Maybe writing it.
Nah, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he's interested. He's got Deadpool all day long. Why would he do that?
His first time directing, maybe.
Nah, I don't think so. You should just really let.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. It's
about time for us to wrapping up. But I think James Gunn taking the creative. He has a partner for this, but I don't think that matters. I think James Gunn taking the creative.
He's more of the producer guy. James Gunn's more of the creative vision guy.
Yeah, James Gunn taking the helm is going to help DC and Marvel. If you like DC stuff, you're going to love what James Gunn does. If you think Marvel stuff is stale, good, because James Gunn's going to make Marvel innovate and change up his formula, which is also good. The reason why Marvel stuff got stale is because no one challenged them. Now he got some challenge. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for the next 10 to 15 years of Marvel comic movie stuff. It's going to be fun. Really fun.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think James Gunn's first move is?
First what?
His first move. What's he going to do? He's got to correct the course of the DC movies. What does he do?
He's going to put out a Superman movie that is going to be almost perfect. When people watch it, they're going to think, this is the Superman I've been waiting for since Christopher Reeves. That's what he's going to do. Okay. He's going to prove to everyone that he can do it. And then after that, he's going to do whatever he wants. All right.
Huh. Yeah, good call.
Yeah. News.
Wonder Woman. Does Wonder Woman show up again?
No.
The same Wonder Woman.
If Gal Gadot wants to do it, if they toss out enough money to Gal Gadot, sure.
Yeah.
I doubt it. News. You can't bruise. Mike, we have some interesting casting news about Wonder Man, which nobody really cares about.
Now, we just mentioned Wonder Woman. I've got to say, Wonder Man, no relation, right?
Absolutely no relation. No, not at all. Okay. So it looks like Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul. Odenkirk, he's going to be he's involved. And they also cast Wonder Man. Wonder Man's going to be an African American gentleman. I can't pronounce his name. Yeah.
Is he African American or is he a black
guy?
African.
He's not African American in the comics though. But again,
I mean like the actor.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, is he American?
I don't think he's African American. He is definitely of some kind of brown people descent.
His name doesn't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is American, but anyway.
His nationality is American. He is American, but yes,
he is American. Okay,
he is American. I can't pronounce his name. Abdul Martin II. He is an extremely handsome man. He was Morpheus.
Has he been in anything?
He was Morpheus in the new Matrix movie. He was Candyman. He was Candyman in the last Candyman.
Did not like him in the new Matrix movie.
He was Black Mantis in Aquaman. And he was in The Watchmen, and he was in a movie called Ambulance with what's his face. So he's been in a lot of movies.
Oh, I hear that's a good movie. I haven't seen that yet.
It's definitely not.
Do you know who he was in The Watchmen?
No, I didn't watch it yet. I haven't
watched it. Okay.
I think he was the blue guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got some good actors for Wonder Man. Looks like they're going. Is Wonder Man going to be a movie or a show?
I thought it was going to be a show.
These two actors, it feels more like a movie to me. I don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. It doesn't say if it's a movie or show.
I mean, Bob Odenkirk definitely plays in TV. I think more
It
than
sounds more like
movies,
a movie, but we'll see. Next up,
he had a great movie, Nobody.
Yeah,
Bob Odenkirk, good action movie.
Oh, didn't watch it. You watch a
You
lot
should
of
watch
movies.
it.
You watch a lot of stuff. You watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Way more than I do. Wakanda Forever has a time slot, so we know where Wakanda Forever takes place as far as the timeline.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
If I can remember it here, he says the movie clearly happens after Spider-Man: No Way Home and Eternals. I think it probably happens potentially concurrent with Thor: Love and Thunder. New Asgard does exist in our film, so we might hear a mention of New Asgard in Black Panther, and almost concurrent with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So it looks like it's happening.
Oh, interesting.
It looks like it's happening as Thor: Love and Thunder takes place, or around that time period. That's fine.
Okay, so it's current.
Yeah.
Current times in the MCU, basically.
Yep. Still no idea who the new Black Panther is. Everybody thinks it's Shuri. I don't think so. I think it's not, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
We all know you don't
but
like.
It's not Shuri.
We know that.
Yeah.
Last up, Mike, do me a favor and click on the last link there. You get a good picture of Scar. Now, we didn't see Scar at the end of She-Hulk. We saw him a little bit, just a couple seconds. Scroll down, and you're going to see the actual mock-up of his character. You should see it. Let me know when you see it.
The one that looks like a video game?
Yeah. He's got a sword
with
in his
long
back.
hair?
Yeah. That's the original. That's the way he's supposed to look. I like it. I like his skin color.
Why'd they deviate from that? That definitely looks better.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's how Scar looks in the comics. So I'm not sure why. And can we stop and talk about why is Scar even? Why did he even? I don't know why they did it. I don't know. I think I complained about this last time. This is for another time. I don't want to get into it right now. But anyway, that's Scar. Because I'll talk for 20 minutes about this, and I don't want to. It's another podcast.
About Scar, yeah. Okay.
At some point, Mike, we need to have a podcast about what Marvel and Disney are doing wrong. We need to have that conversation. All right.
Okay.
I think it's time.
Teaser. Yeah.
Teaser. All right. I know. I mean, our tens and tens of listeners are going to be super hyped about that.
Yeah, man.
It makes me kind of happy to know that there's someone on the metro or someone on the subway or someone on the bus right now listening to us talk about this. It just makes me happy.
Right.
If you are on your commute home and you're listening to us, I want to say thank you. It means a lot to us. I do almost no work for this.
And they check in every week. They check in every week that we got a new show.
That's awesome. I do no work. Mike does a lot of work for this. But we really, really do appreciate it. And if Twitter burns down in the next couple of years, we just want to say thank you. And we'll find you in some other habit. But if you are listening on a commute home in your car or whatever, and you think you're having a great time,
out for a jog or a walk, or a bike ride.
If you're doing some exercise, which my doctor says I need to do, share this with someone. Like, just share it. Let them enjoy what you're enjoying. Don't keep it to yourself. Share this.
Hit that share button.
Let people hear this. We really appreciate you listening.
Don't keep it to yourself.
No. We've got a couple cool things planned. Next week, Black Panther comes out. Black Panther 2. You know we're going to talk about it.
Wakanda Forever.
That's on the agenda. We have the new Ant-Man movie in February. We got other stuff we're going to talk about in between. Also,
we got the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Oh God.
It's going to be so good.
Also, at some point, we're going to do a Marvel Snap meetup where you guys can play us 1-on-1 whenever whenever they have PvP
awesome.
out. So you can beat us.
Right?
You can slam me with a Galactus card and destroy my game. But thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe.
I'm a big Hulk guy. Hulk on the last round.
That is a lazy card. It's a lazy card. Here, look, 12.
It works.
Boom. Yeah.
It works.
It's lazy. I don't use it because it's so lazy. Like, that's the easy card to use.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I have some integrity. I just have a lot. But anyway, I should use the Hulk card more often. I should use it because I lose a lot. But thanks for listening. You'll hear us next time when we talk about what we thought of Wakanda Forever.